I went from 120 pounds to 145 and then stayed there forever with small arms and the stomach I hated. No gym was like that. Then I stopped eating randomly and started eating like a bodybuilder. That took me from 145 pounds to 175 pounds before cutting down. In this video, I'll show you the exact diet system that finally got me out of skinny fat hell. The most important lesson in this video is to take your diet seriously. The motherfucking goats, the people that engraved their names into history, took their diet seriously. Arnold, Ziz, Sebum, and another goat took his diet seriously. Me. When I first started lifting 5 years ago, July 2021, I was 120 pound skinny fat Baljeet. I had almost no muscle on my frame. I wanted to work out, but I was afraid of people judging me. Eventually, some of my friends invited me to go work out with them, and ever since then, I've been hooked. I've been consistent. Training was not the main issue. I was showing up while eating without a plan. I had the consistency of a bodybuilder, but the diet of a bozo who's never heard of protein before in his life. Fast forward 1 year in July 2022, I was 145 pounds. I gained 25 pounds on my frame, which I'm pretty proud of. 1 year later, and still, I was 145 freaking pounds. 1 whole year, and I was still the same exact weight. I was basically Yamcha training to impress the Huz. Something had to be done. Something had to change. Yamcha needed to get Cybermen. At the end of 2023, I woke the fuck up. I finally started tracking my workouts on an app called Heavy. And then at the end of 2024, I realized I fucked up. Yes, I was tracking my workouts, but I was not tracking any protein. I was not tracking any calories. Bulking to me back then just meant making my meals bigger, not building a reliable diet. I trained really hard without giving my body consistent supplies. Training without protein is just like a strip club. I was standing on the sidelines watching the stripper dance, but I wasn't giving her any money. At the gym, I was training hard, but I wasn't giving my body any supplies it needed to grow. Eventually, the stripper would get bored and leave because she's not getting paid. Eventually, my muscles got bored and didn't fucking grow because they didn't get the supplies they needed. And in January 2025, my ascension began. I moved out for a full-time internship. For the first time, I controlled what I ate. I consistently was hitting 120 grams of protein every single day. And I finally committed to a real bulk. I didn't discover any mythic loot exercise. I just stopped being brain dead and controlled my diet. Fast forward a couple months and I got to 165 pounds. Fast forward a few more months and I got to 175 pounds. The bulk did its thing, it worked, but it was not perfect. Near the end, I started gaining a little more fat than I'd like to admit, and that taught me a lesson. Gaining weight does not equal gaining intelligently. I bulked for over 4 years and I learned a lot over that time span. And now I'm going to tell you the exact pieces of information that you need to know so you could do this similar transformation in half the time. The first rule of the eating system is to choose your phase and stick to it. Stop changing your mind every single time you open Instagram. Once I got to 150 pounds, I was confused on what I wanted to do. Part of me wanted to keep bulking, but part of me also wanted to get lean. I decided that I wanted to bulk, and then I would get on Instagram and see a guy with insane ab veins. And then I'd be like, yeah, I need that, I need abs. So then I'd start going on a cut. And then a few days later, I would get on Instagram and I would see a massive lifter with massive ass biceps. And I'd be like, yeah, I want that. I need to get on the bulk. So then I would bulk for a few days. I kept doing this. I kept flipping back and forth. I couldn't make up my mind. I repeated this behavior for months, not making progress in any direction. It's like when you decide to go to a strip club and you don't know which one to go to. So you start driving towards one of them. But before you even get there, you change your mind and you're like, man, I kind of want to go to the other one. So you turn your car around and you go to the other one. And then before you even get to that one, you're like, yeah, maybe I did want to go to the other one. So you turn your car around and go to the other one. You keep doing this until you waste the whole night of driving. What you need to do is to just pick one. Tell yourself that you'll stick to it for 8 to 12 weeks. Track the overall trend. Are you making the progress that you want to make? And the main thing with this rule is to not change your freaking mind, bro. You will basically undo progress and you will waste time. Don't be like me. For most beginner skinny fat lifters, start with a lean bulk. Start with a 250 to 500 calorie surplus, which is 250 to 500 calories above your maintenance level of calories. If you have a rapid rise in your weight, reduce the surplus, cut it down a little bit. If you're not making any progress in the gym, If your strength is stalled, your aesthetics is stalled, increase your surplus. And the second rule is to estimate your calories and then calibrate. Go online and search up TDEE calculator. Type in your information and find your maintenance level of calories. And if you're going on a lean bulk, add 250 to 500 calories to that number. That is what you need to intake every single day. Use the TEE calculator as a starting guess. It's just like when you're at the strip club and they have a list of performers who you can choose from. You don't know any of the names, so you don't have a favorite one yet. So you have to wait and see which one is the most optimal stripper. To calibrate your calorie intake, you need to weigh yourself every single morning and compare weekly averages. Most beginner skinny fat lifters want to aim for half a pound to 1 pound gain per week. This is basically the sweet spot of a lean bulk. If you're not gaining this weight per week, adjust your calorie intake. Rule number 3, and that is the protein floor. Because you are skinny fat, you want to aim for 0.7 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by a value between this range. So let's just say 1. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you need to get 150 grams of protein in per day. And a major piece of advice, do not stress over this number. If you miss your target one day, it's fine. But do not be like the bozo version of me and think training alone is going to get you the physique. You need to have right protein intake. You need to have the right diet if you want to build a sexy ass physique. And the fourth rule is in regards to vegetarian eating. You can still eat what your mom makes. You can still eat cultural foods, Indian food, whatever, but you cannot let the carb portion dominate your plate while assuming protein is going to fix itself. The problem with most cultural dishes is that they have a lot of carbs and very little protein. You need to control this. And the only way you can do that is reduce the carb serving and increase the protein serving. And so what are your protein options as a vegetarian? Well, you have tofu, you have milk, you have nuts, and nuts includes things like peanut butter, which is my favorite thing ever. You have oats, you have yogurt. Yogurt's a big guy, big dog. You have protein powder, you're probably your biggest friend. Eggs too, and you have legumes. Legumes is the tastiest section, by the way. And specific carbs that you need to control, things like roti, bakri, naan, rice, these things you don't want to eat a lot of. Cut it down by 50% or maybe even 75%. So if you typically eat 4 rotis in per day, per meal or whatever, cut that down to 2, maybe even 1. Eat more of things like mug, and by far your biggest hidden enemy that most people never think about is oil. This thing alone can absolutely wipe out your cut if you're on a cut. This could also blow your bulk out of proportion and give you an extra 500 calories per day that you can barely even track. So here was my meal structure that I used to get from 150 to 165 pounds. Take a screenshot and eat these meals tomorrow. Every single morning I would eat peanut butter and toast with a protein shake. This right here alone was like 60 grams of protein and like 1200 calories. Then next for lunch, a few hours later, I would eat eggs, so a lot of protein right there, and bakri. And then at night, I would eat Indian food that's protein based. If the Indian food doesn't have a lot of protein, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm just gonna make my own black bean tacos and eat that instead. And throughout the meals, I would enforce the stomach maxing rule, where I would force myself to eat a little bit extra than last time. And throughout the day, I would do this sneaky snack method. I would sneak in snacks every now and then so I could meet my calorie intake goal. I didn't escape skinny fat by finding a secret CIA classified bicep curl variation. I committed to a phase, set a calorie target, hit my protein goals, and repeated the process long enough until it got me the results that I wanted. If you are a skinny fat vegetarian and you're confused on whether you need to bulk or you need to cut, this is exactly the type of things I help people figure out. The coaching call link is in the description. I've been where you are. I know what works. You know what to do. Get up and get after it.